David Goggins wasn't always who you see today. Before the discipline, before the pain, tolerance, before the name became a mindset, he was just a kid trying to survive. Abused, overweight, invisible. No one believed in him, and worst of all, he didn't believe in himself. But here's the shift. Goggins didn't wait for life to hand him a new story. He rewrote the one he was given, and he did it the hard way by confronting every weakness, every excuse, every scar. Not with rage, not with motivation, but with relentless action. Because the world doesn't care about your potential. It only responds to proof, and the only way to build proof is to outwork your doubt, outlast your pain, and outgrow the version of you that keeps trying to play it safe. That's what Goggins did. He didn't find some hidden strength. He built it, day after day, rep after rep. Inside the quiet, inside the grind, inside himself. And now it's your turn. The world is tough, and so must you be. Let's get one thing straight. The world doesn't owe you understanding. It doesn't pause when you're tired. It doesn't slow down when you're broken. Life is not waiting for you to figure it out. And if you keep waiting for things to get better, you'll be left behind by people who learn to get stronger. David Goggins understood this. Not because someone told him, but because life forced it on him. As a kid, he was beat down by abuse, racism, poverty, and his own insecurities. The world showed him just how cruel it could be. But what made Goggins different wasn't that he avoided the pain. It was that he eventually chose to face it. Most people spend their lives trying to negotiate with discomfort. They look for the shortcut, the excuse, the way out. But Goggins realized something most people never do. You can't negotiate with life. You can only prepare for its brutality. The world will test you. Not once, not twice, constantly. It will hit you in your weakest spot. Not to be cruel, but because that's how pressure works. Pressure doesn't hit where you're strong. It finds the cracks, the insecurities, the doubts, the unresolved trauma. And if you're not ready, you'll collapse under it. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay weak. You can build strength, and you can build it on purpose. Becoming tough doesn't mean becoming cold. It means becoming clear. It means accepting that life will not soften for you, so you must harden your resolve. But how? Start with this: stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for ideal conditions. You build toughness by showing up when you don't feel like it. That 5 a.m. alarm when you'd rather stay in bed, that's the rep. That conversation you've been avoiding, that's the rep. That run, you don't want to take that book. You don't want to read that silence. You don't want to sit in, that's where it begins. Toughness is not grown in comfort. It's built in the moments you're tempted to break and don't. It's the repetition of refusing to fold. It's the choice to keep going without a spotlight, without applause, without external reward. It's when you show up because of who you are, not because someone's watching. Goggins didn't become unbreakable overnight. He built calluses on his mind the same way you build calluses on your hands through friction, repetition, and pain. He created a mental environment where quitting wasn't an option, and in that environment he discovered something powerful. Life can only beat you if you stop fighting. So here's the challenge. Stop asking life to ease up. Ask yourself to rise up. You don't need fewer problems. You need more strength. You don't need comfort. You need clarity. And clarity comes when you decide to stop running from the struggle and start walking into it. Head up, eyes open, fists clenched. Because the world is tough. But so are you if you choose to be. Face the mirror, heal, don't hide. There's a moment in every person's life where the distractions stop working, where the noise fades, the excuses dry up, and all that's left is you, standing in front of the mirror, staring into the eyes of someone you've avoided for too long. That moment is terrifying. But it's also necessary, because you can't outrun yourself forever. David Goggins didn't heal by running further or lifting heavier. He healed by finally turning inward, by confronting the chaos he'd buried for years. Childhood abuse, shame, racism, doubt. He realized the greatest battles weren't external. They were the silent wars happening in his own mind, and you've got those same battles, they just look different. Maybe it's the father who never showed up, the failure you never forgave yourself for, the shame you've locked in the basement of your mind hoping no one ever finds it, not even you. But here's the truth. What you hide will haunt you. What you face can free you. You will never build unshakable confidence while you're still running from the parts of yourself that make you flinch. You can fake strength all you want, but you'll never feel it until you've stared down your own darkness and said, "I'm not afraid of you anymore." Healing is not pretending it never happened. It's learning to speak about it without breaking. It's learning to own your story, not be owned by it. Most people never get there. Why? Because it's easier to numb than to confront. Easier to scroll than to reflect. Easier to build muscle on the outside than to address the wounds on the inside. But strength, real, lasting strength, is forged through honesty. Brutal, unfiltered honesty. You've got to ask yourself, what am I still ashamed of? What parts of me do I pretend don't exist? What pain am I still letting define me? And when the answers come, and they will, you don't run. You listen. You sit in it. You write it down. You say it out loud. You bring light into places you've kept dark for too long. This is not a one-time event. It's a process. But each time you do it, you reclaim a piece of yourself. Each time you face what once controlled you, you take the power back. Goggins didn't become the man he is because he avoided shame. He became Goggins because he confronted it and refused to be defined by it anymore. You can do the same, but it starts with the mirror. Not the mirror in your bathroom, the one in your soul, the mirror that reflects the truth you've buried under layers of performance and distraction. Face it, not with fear, but with discipline, clarity, and purpose. Because the strongest version of you isn't the one who hides from pain. It's the one who looks it dead in the eye and says, "You don't control me anymore." Train for chaos, suffer by choice to win by force. Pain is coming. Whether you're ready or not, it's coming. It won't knock, it won't ask. It'll show up in the form of loss, failure, betrayal, injury, pressure, and it will hit harder than you expect. The question isn't if pain will come. The question is, will you be ready when it does? David Goggins didn't become tough by accident. He knew what most people ignore. You don't rise when life gets easier. You rise because you trained for the day it got harder. You see, most people live their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They build routines that protect their weaknesses instead of exposing them. They wait for motivation to move, and when life finally punches them in the face, they fold. But the elite, the ones who bend the world, they don't wait. They choose the suffering before the suffering chooses them. That's what training for chaos is. It's not about being extreme. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about building your resistance before you're forced to use it. Because when you voluntarily step into difficulty, whether it's a cold morning run, turning off the phone to sit in silence, or doing that one task you hate the most, you're not just building muscle, you're building mental armor. You're building the capacity to stay calm, clear, and committed while everything around you is falling apart. That's a superpower. And it's built in the dark when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when it's just you and the part of you that wants to quit. Goggins didn't wait for adversity to remind him how strong he could be. He invited it. He scheduled it. He lived in it until it became normal. That's why when real chaos came, it didn't break him. It confirmed what he already knew. I've been here before. I've already suffered more than this. You want to win by force. You want to break through when life goes sideways, then you need to suffer on your terms now. So when it's no longer your choice, you're already equipped. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about running ultra marathons or breaking world records. It's about choosing the hard thing when the easy way is right there. It's about waking up when it's easier to sleep in, finishing what you started when your energy is gone, saying no to distraction when no one would blame you for saying yes, going into the gym when your body says stay home, but your standard says show up. That's the daily battlefield. That's the forge where warriors are made. So what's the takeaway? Don't wait for pain to knock you off balance. Meet it head on before it arrives. Do something every day that sucks, that pushes you, that forces your comfort zone to shrink while your capacity grows, because one day pain will visit. And in that moment, you'll either fold like most people, or you'll rise not because it's easy, but because it's familiar. You've been there. You've suffered by choice, and now you're ready to win by force. Purpose is you, not a goal, but an identity. Most people live their lives chasing a finish line. They didn't even draw a degree, a job title, a medal, a number in their bank account. They're taught to believe that purpose is something out there, something to be found, achieved, earned. But here's the truth. Those things are just milestones. The real purpose. It's you. David Goggins learned that the hard way. When the races ended, when the training goals were met, when the external challenges were conquered, what was left? What still made him get up at 4 a.m. and push past the edge? It wasn't a prize, it wasn't applause, it was self-respect. Because real purpose isn't an event. It's not a task. It's a standard you live by when nobody's watching. It's the quiet voice that says, do it anyway. It's waking up when there's no race on the calendar. It's showing up when there's nothing to prove, but everything to protect. That everything is your identity. And if you don't define it, the world will do it for you. Most people confuse motivation with meaning. They wait for a goal to feel excited. They wait for a title to feel valuable. They wait for recognition to feel worthy. But what happens when the goal is gone? When there's nothing to chase? That's when most people fall apart, because they never built purpose into their identity. They attached it to a finish line, and finish lines always move. Goggins found something deeper. He didn't need a race to run. He didn't need a microphone to speak. He didn't need an enemy to fight. He made himself the mission. Every day his purpose was simple, to become the kind of man who didn't quit on himself, no matter what. And you can do the same. You don't need a grand goal to start. You need a question. What kind of person am I committed to becoming even on my worst days? Because that's where purpose is built, in the mundane, in the silence, in the moments where nobody's clapping, nobody's asking, and you're still doing the work. Start with your name. Strip away the titles, the expectations, the history. Ask yourself, who do I want to be when no one is watching? What standard do I live by, regardless of results? What code am I willing to suffer for, even when the spotlight is off? You don't need motivation to live with purpose. You need discipline, clarity, and ownership. And ownership starts with this realization. You are not working toward your purpose. You are the purpose. Every time you train when you're tired, every time you stay consistent when it's inconvenient, every time you say no to the easy path and yes to the higher standard, you're proving that you matter enough to be your own reason. Not because it's flashy, not because it's easy, but because the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one between who you are and who you said you'd be. So the next time you wake up with no fire, no external goal, no cheering crowd, remember this: you don't need anything else to chase. You are the purpose. Now live like it. Build your new self. Then stay humble. At some point, if you do the work, if you face the pain, if you show up day after day, you'll change. It might not be obvious at first. No one will congratulate you, but you'll notice it in the silence. In the moments you stay calm where you used to explode. In the days you show up without needing a reason. That's how it begins. You'll realize you're not who you used to be, and that's when something powerful happens. You've built your new self. But here's the catch: most people never see coming. Becoming stronger is only half the fight. Staying humble is the other half. David Goggins became something no one expected. Not because he was the fastest or the most gifted, but because he never forgot who he was before he became Goggins. The weak, broken, overweight kid didn't disappear. He became the reason Goggins never let up. That's the secret to staying grounded. You don't erase who you were. You honor it. You carry it with you, not as shame, but as fuel. Because here's what happens if you don't. Success becomes a mask. Discipline becomes ego. Achievement becomes entitlement. And the moment you think you're better than others because you've climbed out of the darkness, you've already started to fall back into it. Humility isn't self-doubt. It's self-awareness. It's knowing that you're still one bad decision, one lazy week, one unguarded moment away from slipping back into the version of you that used to settle. The world will try to celebrate your transformation like it's the end, but you'll know it's just the beginning. And the only way to protect everything you've built is to keep earning it every single day, with your actions, with your effort, with your attitude. William Crawford, a Medal of Honor recipient, understood this better than most. After being awarded the highest honor in the military, he spent his later years quietly working as a janitor at the Air Force Academy. Most students had no idea who he was. He didn't correct them. He didn't brag. He just swept the halls. That's what humility looks like. Power under control. Strength without the need for attention. A man who didn't need to be treated like a hero to keep behaving like one. And that's the model. You build your new self not to show off, but to serve. Not to get praise, but to be prepared. Not to look down, but to reach back. Because true transformation isn't about becoming untouchable. It's about becoming useful for your family, your purpose, and the next person fighting through the same hell you came from. So yes, build yourself. Break the old story. Create the version of you that doesn't flinch, that doesn't fold, that doesn't fear the storm. But once you've built him, keep your head down, stay sharp, stay humble. Because the day you stop respecting the work is the day you start losing what the work gave you. You've come too far to start looking down. Remember where you came from and keep walking like you still have everything to prove. Because real strength doesn't need to be seen. It just needs to show up. Every day, without fail, you are the standard. You don't rise because the world gets easier. You rise because you get harder to break. Every day, life throws weight on your shoulders, some chosen, most not. But the ones who endure, who grow, who lead, they're not waiting for relief. They're building resilience. What David Goggins learned, and what you must learn, is that strength is not earned in the spotlight. It's forged in solitude. Discipline isn't something you apply when you feel good, it's what you fall back on when everything in you wants to quit. The purpose isn't out there. It's not in a race, a title, a prize. It's in you, in how you show up, in who you decide to become, especially when no one's watching. So here's the lesson. Don't just train your body, train your mind. Don't just chase goals. Build identity. Don't just fight to win. Fight to transform. Because one day the world will hit you with something it wasn't fair enough to warn you about. And when it does, you'll either be prepared or exposed. You are the standard now. Live like it. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you because you didn't just watch this video. You showed up. You chose to sit with uncomfortable truths, to confront the parts of yourself most people spend a lifetime running from. That already makes you different. But listening is only the beginning. What matters now is what you do next. If something in this message hit home, don't just keep it to yourself. Drop a comment below and share one thought, one sentence, one moment that stuck with you. It might seem small, but your words could be the spark that pulls someone else out of a dark place. You never know who you're helping by speaking up. And if you felt this, really felt it, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it and make sure you're subscribed. This channel isn't just about motivation, it's about transformation, about building the kind of mindset that carries you through chaos, through failure, through the days when no one believes in you. But lastly, I want you to remember this. You are not broken. You are being shaped. And every hard moment, every setback, every doubt, it's not there to stop you. It's there to prepare you. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed. Committed to becoming the version of you who doesn't quit, doesn't fold, and doesn't settle. So get up, get focused, get moving, and I'll see you in the next one.